Mike, do they want new? Do they want new? Like they want new Star Wars franchise based off the original? People want that because that's the question being thrown out there right now by Matthew Vaughn. Because Matthew Vaughn, I feel like he's in the news all the time now. I feel like this guy's got nothing else to do, he's just doing interviews. Well, Argyle's coming out, which he directed, so that's probably why he's in the news more and more and more. But he was talking in interviews recently, talking about Star Wars and how he would love to direct a Star Wars movie. And of course, Matthew Vaughn from, like I said, Argyle's coming out, but he did X-Men First Class. Last week we were talking about him and X-Men Last Stand, where they tried to screw Halle Berry out of her contract. They lied to her about the script, saying she'd be in it more. Like he's an influential director. He's great too. He's an awesome guy. And he was like, yeah, if they ever offered me, like most people would be scared about that, but I would do it in a heartbeat. He goes, the big thing is that he was saying about Disney is they forgot what Star Wars is. For him, he said it's about the Skywalkers. Now it's our discussion in a second, but he says about the Skywalkers and Disney had forgotten about them. And he said the best idea is to reboot it and recast Luke Skywalker, recast Han Solo, recast everybody, Leia, make them all come back, do the whole thing over again, make it more for the new generation. And he said, if it's good enough, then the older generation will forgive you and they will enjoy it and they will find love for the franchise and this new breath of life. And then you can focus on, find love. Then you can focus on the Star Wars main characters again. And that's what he was saying. But Kathleen Kennedy said she would never do this. So I don't think this is ever going to be a thing that's going to come to fruition. She said after Han Solo did so bad, the Solo spinoff, she said there's no way they're going to try to reboot anybody again and recast. She said they recasted with Endrick. It was Endrick, Endrick, that actor, to be Han Solo, and it just bombed really bad. And they had to do massive reshoots with Ron Howard, and they don't want to touch it again. They'd rather do spinoffs.
Donald Glover was not Donald Glover.
And they argued Donald Glover's getting his own spinoff as Lando. That's happening.
Yeah, he was a great Lando Calrissian, right?
He's getting his own spinoff.
Did they decide if it's going to be a series or a movie yet?
It's going to be a movie now. It was going to be a series, and they moved it to a movie. Yeah. So they're changing that all. They're changing the whole dynamic over there because they're not trying to make as much series for Disney Plus. So they should do a time travel story. That's what Richard Tracy said. That could be fun. That could be really fun. I mean, but the thing is, they don't want to touch this. Disney doesn't want to touch it. They know it bombed before when they try to reboot these characters. But would this even work? Would we want to see this? I feel like the new franchise, the sequel series, they kind of, with Force Awakens, it was kind of like a soft reboot of A New Hope in a lot of ways. So what do you think about this, Mike? Do you think that you would touch the Skywalker franchise? Would you reboot and rechange and recast these characters? It could help this prequel series, but do you think that's a way that Disney could, bring some fresh life into Star Wars?
I'm so happy that you went to me first for this, Brian, because honestly, we often talk about stale IP-ness on this show, and I think that's apropos discussion.
Oh, that's a new shirt, stale IP-ness.
Because it's just, it's just executives trying to make money the easy way rather than to make money the daring way and taking risks. But also, I think just as someone who's been around a lot of creative people and has had discussions with a lot of creative people, I think that you guys aren't seeing the great dance that Sabrina's doing right now. Yoda looks great. Sabrina looks like she's killing.
You got this, Sabrina. What do you got? Where's your dad?
No, I was playing off Yoda. I can't do it now.
You need that reference. I get it.
She'll bring it back when you have
bring
the
it back.
opportunity. There we go.
Not as good. I was mirroring him. We were doing it. It was very good.
You were doing it better. What I was trying to say is that I think that that the large part of art before it gets taken away by the muse and creates a new paradigm is imitation. I think that that's the best way for anybody out there. If there's young people watching, if there's old people watching that are trying to create art, that are anybody that's a writer out there that's stifled in your ideas, stop trying to create something new. Try to just do the same thing as something that's already been done before and do it in your own voice. Just rewrite it the way that you see it from your own eyes. And I honestly think that this is the way that humanity progresses in artistic terms, and hopefully we can all just keep moving forward. I mean, if a massive company like Disney is making money from it, that's one thing, but also it's fun because at this point Star Wars has moved into the mythical realm. So we all have so many attachments to somebody like Lando Calrissian, somebody like Han Solo, somebody like Princess Leia, like seeing somebody else's take on these ideas, even if they're adapting of what other people have shown us before, is fun. It's okay because honestly, those that's based on the whole mythical story cycle, the Joseph Campbell shit before. None of that was original.
Oh, Joseph Campbell.
Go. None of I know that's cheesy AF, but
no, it's so accurate. It is so accurate.
That's the thing. I'm saying don't be afraid to steal. If you're an artist out there, steal. Like this is how we create new things because your voice will come into it once you've stolen it.
I literally have that book. I'm going to find it. And you should, anyone who wants to write a script that is an action script, which is the most oh, there it is. Oh, that's my guy. What? Yeah. Okay. So, most accurately, any action movie, movies in general, this is the same formula, but like an action movie, specifically Star Wars, Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. Buy the book, read the book. You write a fucking awesome script. It's a very, very specific guide on how to do it well. And if you read that book, it's going to fuck you because every movie you watch, you're going to be like, oh, there's the rebirth, there's the baptism, all of the things now.
It's much older than cinema is the thing. It's older
kind of amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing, but
the hero's journey. It's massive. It's a massive.
Anyone who went to school for film studied this book. It's amazing. It's amazingly accurate. And when I was like reading it, I'm like, oh, whatever. And then I watch movies and I'm like, oh my God, it's like literally 100% fucking accurate.
Every time.
And any film like Dogma hits every fucking point. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be an action movie, but action movies particularly follow this route so very specifically. Then like there's another type of movie which is where there's no redemption, which is something like Pulp Fiction or Magnolia, like something like that. You know what I mean? Like so there's a very formulaic way to go about writing a movie. And if you do your research and you pay attention to those things and then also bring your own, the only thing that you can bring yourself is your own originality, your own nuance. Like no one else has what you have inside of you, So like that is what we need in Hollywood. That is what everyone needs instead of recycling the same shit over and fucking over again. It's like, enough already. Honestly, Mike, I agree with everything you said. I think you hit the nail on the fucking head. And I'm going to pass the mic to Sean. That was fucking great.
Hold before I move on. So it sounds like Sabrina and Mike want a reboot of Star Wars.
No,
that's what it sounds like.
The only thing better than the hero's journey is the hero's bisque, the hero's noodle soup. I don't know.
Oh, I mentioned the bisque.
The soup with 1,000 flavors. How about that? That's a deeper cut.
That's fucking awesome. I literally I don't know. I feel like that book is really quintessential to anyone who wants to be a screenwriter. Like you have to read that book. You have to.
But again. So you're both saying that, you take the hero's journey route and you take a story and make it your own. So you're saying that you would love to see Matthew Vaughn take Star Wars.
Questions on
the chat. Hold on. Questions in the chat I want to address fast too. I want to address the chat too. Is that the chat was saying too that is this a reboot? Yes, it would be a reboot of the originals for the trilogy, the original trilogy. So the very first New Hope, rebooting it, restarting it, making it a new thing. And I love what Queen was saying too out in the chat about how we could get Galactus and cross Star Wars and Marvel. We should do that shit all day.
The Skrulls,
the Skrulls say they should be doing that right now.
I don't that.
Like,
I really don't hate
Sean over there.
Sean's he's biting the bullet right here. But before we go to Sean, so you both think that the hero journey is that you're saying take an idea that's been done a million times and make it your own.
You're misinterpreting it because it's still part of Star Wars. What Mike is saying, I think, and what I'm definitely saying is make your own universe. Don't make it Star Wars. Don't make it Marvel. Make it your own. Like, again, I don't know how many times I've ever referenced this. Everything, everywhere, all at fucking once. It was an amazing, bizarre, multiverse fucking phenomenon. It's a fantastic movie. It won all the fucking Oscars. Like, do something like that. Don't do this. Don't recycle this. Do your version of this, whatever that may be. Do your version of this. Don't do this.
Yeah, I don't think that Mark Hamill would like it.
It's not true.
I can see the Luke from Mark Hamill.
No. So Sean, how do you feel about this conversation right now? Do you want to see? I mean, this is all again, like I said before, we don't really know if this would ever happen. Kathleen Kennedy said before she doesn't want to touch it, but Matthew Vaughn's a very influential director. Maybe he would get his way and they reboot it. What do you think? Do you think this is a possibility, or do you think that they should just leave this IP-ness where it's at and keep growing off that IP-ness until they get where they need to be?
Keep growing.
Well, that's a great question, Brian.
Do you think this IP should keep growing?
I feel like they are exploring a lot of the corners of the Star Wars universe, and we're just barely scratching the surface of the potential for interesting stories still tied to Star Wars and what makes a Star Wars a Star Wars. Like Andor was so polarizing because it didn't feature a lot of this Force nonsense and all that kind of shit. Even though it was very subtly kind of used, but it still was that that oppression. You felt that, right? Like you wanted to cheer for the good guys and be afraid a little bit of the bad guys. So no, I don't want to see a rehash. I do not want to see a reboot of the original trilogy. I don't want to see a reboot of any of these movies.
Amen.
Just because I feel like there are still a lot of stories left to tell. Again, what is it like doing your taxes on Tatooine, right? We don't know.
You're consistent. You're consistent with that query, Sean.
I have to be. Because no one else is, right? This is my burden to carry and all that kind of shit. But no, like, I was very when Rebel Moon, right? A few months ago, we talked about Rebel Moon coming out, and you you felt the fact that this could live or kind of fit into a Star Wars world, and he didn't do that. And I think we're gonna still get something that is amazing and still out there. And it's like, we need to give creators and directors chances to do things that are not tied to what's expected. Stop looking at franchises. Stop looking at an idea or a property as a potential for a franchise. There's nothing wrong with one great movie being what that is and allowing the audience to kind of fill in the holes or fill in the gaps themselves. And if you still want to, down the line, kind of explore different stories, by all means, I would love to get a District 9 follow-up. I don't think we're ever going to get that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Let's move on to the other show, Sean. Let's just do that now. Jesus.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, here we go.
There's a lot of people there. Again, everyone, it's very, it's known. The Star Wars, you can see them. It's cross-generational. Everyone loves it. Don't reboot it. Do something new. Do something original that
Let it be.
kind of pays homage in some way, or perhaps people can draw natural similarities. But for God's sakes, please just do something new. Do something fucking new. Take a chance.
I don't agree.
Yeah, do something new. I agree with you, Sean. And the thing is, they always look at these like, oh, we made money before, we can do it again. And then, I don't think Matthew Vaughn's coming from that perspective. I just think that he's like, he doesn't like where they've been going with this. And he just thinks that you start over because he loves the Skywalkers. He's probably a big fan of the old franchise, and he wants that to be what it's all about. But we don't always need Skywalkers. I've been trying to get away from that too. So we explore the universe and explore the galaxy. And there's more people out there. I like that idea. There's been a lot in the chat about the Flash too.
Yep.
But the opening scroll too, they stole it from that too.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon, the football one. Yeah, the football one. Football star that's gonna save the universe. Flash. Oh. Yeah, it's so good. It's such a great movie. And Queen fucking killed it. I wish you had that. It'd be great. I love that movie, and I think that's what happens. People steal things from everybody else. Like Mike was saying, like take inspiration from people, and then build off that and make it something different and original and find your way.
If I can steal you for one moment, I do wonder if Sean has special insight into this, because I think I've seen it before in terms of the comic book world seems to presage the cinematic world, just like with about 5% of the budget. I think we've seen it happen many times before, the same, because they've got the same kind of situation where a publisher is interacting directly with a cohort that is absorbing and is interacting with them. That's that's interacting with the stories that they're putting out. Sean, sorry, you're making a fucking face at me. I can't think of the appropriate.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm just saying that I think that the comic book world may be just earlier than fucking looking through your fingers at me, like just a little bit early and in a smaller scope than so we may see it played out again on a grander scale in the cinematic universe where the Disney money is at. You knew what I was saying.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I agree. I think comic books and even novels, right? For a long time before we had the prequel trilogy or Rey Star Wars, before we had her trilogy, all we had were the books, all we had were the games, all we had were the comics to kind of fill in and just kind of fill that need and that itch for Star Wars. And they did such a good job of it because that also captured the attention of a generation that perhaps didn't grow up with that original trilogy. And the fact that they're now getting the chance to see characters that they grew up with, interpreted in this way, like there's still plenty of that content out there, plenty of that stuff in the Star Wars realm.
So Sean, is that the lesson that you want the Star Wars cinematic universe to learn? If you see my question there,
I don't.
Oh, fuck, I'm fucked.
No, you're good.
No, I'm not even
doing great, Mike. You're doing great.